Have you ever wondered what the world would look like if China actually surpassed the United States and became the leading global superpower? Would our lives change? Would democracy still dominate, or would a new order rise? Today, we dive deep into one of the most debated questions of our time. Can China truly overtake the US and rule the world? Let's start by looking at the numbers. China's economy is massive, second only to the US, and it's been growing rapidly for decades. With a population of over 1.4 billion people, a tech industry that's catching up fast, and a government that plans decades ahead, China certainly has many of the tools needed to lead the world. But is that enough? China's influence has already expanded far beyond its borders. The Belt and Road Initiative, for example, connects dozens of countries across Asia, Africa, and Europe through infrastructure investments. This gives China both economic and political leverage in regions where the US has traditionally been dominant. In Africa, for instance, Chinese companies are building roads, railways, and even entire cities. Meanwhile, Chinese media and culture are also being exported at an unprecedented scale. But let's not forget that global leadership isn't just about money or projects. The US still dominates in several key areas. Its military presence spans the globe, its universities attract the brightest minds, and American culture, from Hollywood to Silicon Valley, still shapes global trends. And perhaps most importantly, the US political system, for all its flaws, is still built on democratic ideals that appeal to many around the world. China's political system, on the other hand, is often criticized for censorship, human rights issues, and a lack of transparency. While its government is highly efficient in executing long-term strategies, many nations remain skeptical of aligning too closely with an authoritarian regime. Soft power, the ability to influence others through attraction rather than coercion, is where China still struggles compared to the US. There's also the challenge of internal stability. While China has lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty, it also faces serious problems, like a shrinking population, rising debt levels, and growing inequality. The recent real estate crisis with companies like Evergrande is just one example of potential cracks in its economic system. Another factor to consider is innovation. China is investing heavily in AI, green energy, and quantum computing. In some areas, like 5G and electric vehicles, it's already ahead. But when it comes to original, groundbreaking ideas, the US still leads, largely because of its open society that encourages creativity, diversity, and freedom of thought. So, can China overtake the US and rule the world? The answer isn't black and white. Economically, it might surpass the US in terms of GDP within the next decade. Politically and culturally, however, the story is far more complex. Global leadership is not just about numbers. It's about trust, values, and the ability to inspire others. And that's something money alone can't buy. What's clear is that we are entering a new era of global competition, one that's not necessarily about replacing the US, but about reshaping the balance of power. Whether you see this as a threat or an opportunity, one thing is certain: the world is changing, and we all have a front-row seat to history. If you found this topic interesting, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button and join us as we explore more thought-provoking questions about the world we live in. Who knows? The next video might just change the way you see everything.